Good evening, everybody, and welcome in here on the Buckeye Racing Network. I'm Tyler Bentley. Alongside me in the booth tonight, it's going to be Tim Henderson. Tim, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, buddy. We have a special guest in the booth with us tonight. We'll be here all night. His name's Stephen Ovens. Stephen, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I appreciate you having me in tonight, guys. Steve Ovens, announcer at the Land of Legends Raceway in Canandaigua, New York, and have announced at many tracks that feature IMCA modifieds. And I got to tell you, fellas, I'm on the chip tonight, man. I'm ready to go. We're going to see a hell of a race tonight.
Absolutely. A big field of drivers. Let's look at the numbers here. 50 are in the session. 50 have taken a lap time. $1,000 purse, $150 to the winner. And if you start the feature, you at least get back your entry fee. So very, very interesting here tonight. As we see the who's at the top of the board, we got Matt Pridgeon, 1447. We might be able to pull in a couple of these drivers and get a quick word in with them before we roll into qualifying action here tonight. Might start off with Matt Pridgeon himself, since he's at the top of the board here. Hey Matt, it's Tyler, Tim, and Steven up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, man. Well, as we prepare to roll into tonight's events, how are you feeling? You're sitting at the top of the practice board.
Yeah, man. I feel good having quick time right now, but I just hope not to be a hot lap hero. This track slowed down quite a bit, and there's some fast people that joined in practice a little late. So, qualifying is going to be a real telltale sign of how things are going to go tonight. But, I'm pretty excited about having quick time for practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Racing for the big money tonight. How exciting is that?
Oh, yeah, it is pretty exciting. Maybe a little bit of extra change to help out the real life race cars. So, hopefully we can bring home a good position, get a little bit of money.
Absolutely. Well, before I let you go, I'm going to ask the other two up in the booth here with me, Tim or Steven. Do you have any questions to ask Matt before we let him get back to his duties?
Matt, just curious what you're seeing in the track already here tonight, and what you think you're going to have to do to continue to show that speed that we saw you have here in practice, based on what you're seeing in the track right now.
Well, first off, when I joined in here and got my fastest lap, it was right there on the bottom, which is a typical Lanier line. Last time I was out on the track, which was probably about 4 or 5 minutes ago, maybe, the top was the fastest line, but I don't know. With all the cars out there, I'm pretty sure it's going to be back on the bottom for qualifying. I'll probably get out here within the next couple of minutes just to feel some things out and see where I need to go.
All righty, Matt. Well, we want to thank you for talking to us. I know we snagged you up out of the blue, but we appreciate you, and we'll let you get back to it.
No problem. It's fun. It's fun talking to you guys. I enjoy it.
Absolutely. What room were you in? And I'll drag you back.
I don't know what the room's called, but I know it's the room with AJ.
The room with AJ. All right, I will take you there.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, so we have to talk to Matt a little bit. Man, this is going to be very interesting. I'm so excited to get the heat racing action underway for these drivers here tonight. I'm sure it's going to be crazy. Money is on the line. A big thanks to all of the sponsors. We'll run through some of those. QuickTime Promotions putting up some extra money for these guys here tonight. The fastest qualifier is going to get $50 extra courtesy of QuickTime Promotions, and they're also sponsoring the heat race winners for $10 a piece, and also mentioned Williams Junk Removal as well. They're going to be sponsoring each heat race winner, for $10 as well. Plum Wild Podcast, they're our yellow flag sponsor tonight, so big thank you to them. Also SimRacerHub, Rick Sparks Auto Sales, Shockeye Racing Performance, suicide prevention awareness. That was donated for the awareness of suicide prevention. Really awesome to be here at Lanier. Tim, what are your expectations as we roll into the spring nationals here with the League of Outlaws?
Good, clean, hard racing. I expect an all-out war to be seen by these gladiators.
Absolutely. Steven, any quick thoughts from you before we roll into tonight's qualifying?
I think it's going to take a lot of skill and it's going to take a lot of patience. 50 laps is a long time around this racetrack, but you're going to have guys that are going to struggle in qualifying, struggle in a heat race. They might make the show and they got to come from the back, but it's going to take a lot of patience and a lot of skill here tonight because this is a very racy, but it's a very challenging track too.
Absolutely, it sure is. We cannot wait to see what happens. Who's going to take home that $50 reward for being the QuickTime Promotions Fast Qualifier? We're about to find out. I say Matt Pridgeon, maybe Dakota Osborne, Jason Rochelle, Nathan Waddell, Blade Wisdom. They're in the top 5 here. Set some good lap times early on in this practice session. So I'd say some of those drivers. If you're new with us here on the Buckeye Racing Network, we want to welcome you into the channel. We appreciate you watching. Let us know in the chat who you're pulling for here tonight. We always enjoy seeing those messages come across, and don't forget to subscribe. You'll get to know each and every time we go live on the Buckeye Racing Network. As we get to flip over, qualifying session is underway. The drivers are going to start flooding the racetrack. We'll try to catch as many of them as possible here for their qualifying efforts. You're going to see all of those times populate up on the left-hand side of your screen once they do complete some of their laps. So we're looking at the 57 machine of Trevor Williams as he makes his way around Lanier. Also interesting to see, since this is a fixed setup, how close these times be. One of the first times was Corey Boudinot at a 14:65. That's already bested by Nathan Waddell at a 14:47. Trevor Williams, the car we're taking a look at a 14:72, now 11th with that time. He comes across to complete lap number 2. He does pick up to 9th with a 14:62. But Waddell still at the top of the board. Matthew Selby went to second. Blade Wisdom just came across at a 14:47. Let's see if he picks
Pretty
up here.
interesting here to see Matt Pridgeon, who wasn't exactly sure what he was going to get for a qualifying time. He's up to third quick right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and he was not as good on his second lap at a 14:63. He's going to get credited with a 14:49 there. Bunch of other drivers. Let's see if we can take a look at one of them just starting out. Take a look at the league owner here, Mr. A.J. Hunsinger, as he makes his way around Lanier for his qualifying effort in the number 33 machine.
Tyler, you know, I think that something that I find interesting here is the top 5 in qualifying right now. They ran their quick lap on that first lap. Some of them did run a second lap, obviously, but for everybody in the top 5, it was always the first lap. And from 6th on down, a majority of them were second lap quick time.
Yeah, very interesting. AJ's 2 laps were close, a 14:71 and a 14:72 on lap 2. He's going to get credited with 37th quick here tonight. I'm trying to see. I think that's about all of our drivers there, 1st through 50th, have qualified. So I don't think anybody can challenge Mr. Blade Wisdom for quick time here tonight, as there's only 13 seconds now left in this qualifying session. So Blade Wisdom, congratulations on the QuickTime Promotions fastest qualifier and $50 right off at the top. going to you tonight, sir. Congratulations. Going to get to roll right into heat race action. So we take a look at the starting grid for heat number 1. Row number 1, our fast qualifier, Blade Wisdom and James Murphy. Row 2 is going to be Connor New and Jared Murphy. Row number 3 is going to be Aaron Bowman and Glenn Townsend. Row 4 is going to be Corey Boudinot and Derek Darnell. Row 5 is going to be Hunter Karsten and Kendrick Hom. Eight laps on the board here for the first heat. Tim, what are we looking at for transfer numbers here?
We're looking at 3 transfers out of every heat going straight to the feature. And we're going to have 5 total heats.
5 total heats and 3 straight to the feature. So that means the B main's only going to take 5 later on here tonight because we're going to start 20. Man, I'm so anxious to get underway here. Let's see if we can. I was going to maybe try to pull a quick word here with our fast qualifier. I don't. Taking a look down through here to see if I can find him.
The pace truck dips
Oh.
off.
Base truck is already off. We're underway. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Blade Wisdom's going to run down into turn number 1 and 2, followed hot and heavy by the 65 machine of James Murphy. Third and fourth, Connor New, Jared Murphy battling. That's right at that transfer. Look out, the 44 of Aaron Bowman making a big move through turns 3 and 4 as he tries to gather up as many spots as he can to get closer to third. Back in the back, you got Glenn Townsend, I think that is, and Kendrick Hom side by side. That was a battle for 8th. Our first 5 or 6, all single file running the bottom. Blade Wisdom, James Murphy, Connor New is the top 3.
Glenn's got a big fan crowd watching on YouTube tonight, but it's been tough sledding for Glenn so far.
Yeah, absolutely, it sure has. So we're trying to see here, there's Aaron Bowman in the 44. He's trying to get up to the back bumper of Connor New. Connor's been just a tick faster the past couple of laps. Jared Murphy following right in line in 5th. Battle may be brewing for 6. Corey Boudinot and Hunter Karsten. Also a battle for Kendrick Hom and Derek Darnell a little further back. James Murphy is right on the rear bumper of Blade Wisdom as they barrel off into turn number 3. James going to try to turn it underneath of him out of turn 4. Not able to do it there. Just 2 laps to go in this first heat. Connor New just watching are the 2 leaders, knowing he's in a safe place in third right now. White flag in the air for Blade Wisdom. Is he going to hold off James? We're about to find out. James has a nose to the inside, a little bit of contact. James dives it in hard through 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Blade Wisdom wins heat 1. James Murphy second. Connor New is going to be third. Those are our transfers. Aaron Bowman, Jared Murphy, Corey Boudinot, Hunter Karsten, Glenn Townsend, Derek Darnell, and Kendrick Hom rounds out the heat. All right. Blade Wisdom quick time and a heat race win to start off his evening here tonight in the Spring Nationals. Heat race number 2, gridding up already. Nathan Waddell and Jason Rochelle on row number 1. Row 2 is going to be James Braswell and Trevor Doyle. Row 3 is going to be Gabe Griffin and Brandon Moe. Row number 4 is going to be Jerry Walford and AJ Hunsinger. Row 5 is going to be Dale Fairness and Dustin Glenn. As our drivers are waiting behind the pace truck, they'll begin rolling here in just a moment.
Field rolling off here. as they're getting ready for 8 laps of fury right here, trying to get into the big show tonight. And Tyler, I got to imagine, for these drivers right now, this is, this is a big money event. You almost make back your entry fee just to make the big dance tonight. I can't imagine the nerves, trying to get into one of these qualifying spots, especially. We've seen it be a little bottom dominant so far, but especially for these guys trying to work their way from, 5th on back.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it a little bit there in the first heat. It looked like the bottom dominant for sure. We had some single file action, a little bit of passing, but let's see if the track changes just a little bit here in this second heat. And Steven, you're the guest tonight. How about you lead us here in this heat number 2?
All right, the boys are about to kick the tires and light the fires. Our green flag is out for our first of 8 laps here, trying to make the Spring Nationals. Nathan Waddell going to lead the pack here into 3 and 4 for the first time. Good battle going on here for the 2 spot between Jason Rochelle and James Braswell Jr. Rochelle down to the bottom, or excuse me, that was Braswell. Now Rochelle going to go back at him as they make a little contact, hard contact into turn 3. As that's going to shuffle the field up here. Oh, and they're still making contact down in turn 1. 4 wide into turn 1. I did not think we were going to see that this early, Tyler.
No, I did not. I'll tell you what, that jumbled them up real big. 4 wide. Lucky they all kept it straight off into turn 1 and 2. I'll tell you what, A.J. Hunsinger's on the move up 5 spots, so a little bit of that stack up benefited him. He's in that 3rd and final transfer spot here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Hunsinger said, hey, boys, look what I just found. I'll tell you who else said that, too, was Trevor Doyle. Doyle really capitalized on the mix-up there right on the opening lap, as now everybody starts to kind of get things shuffled off. Braswell Jr. certainly the big loser in that whole fracas on the early laps, as he's sitting on pit lane with damage. But right now up front, Nathan Waddell all alone out front here as we're closing in. 2 laps to go across the line this time.
Just 2 laps to go for Nathan Waddell as he's going to work down the back straightaway with almost a 1.5 lead over Trevor Doyle, who's in 2nd. He's got a couple car lengths back to A.J. Hunsinger. White flag in the air for Waddell. Gabe Griffin, is he going to have anything for A.J. Hunsinger to transfer into the feature tonight? We'll keep an eye on it. Back up front, Nathan Waddell comes out of turn 4 to the checkered flag. And the heat race number 2 winner, Trevor Doyle 2nd, A.J. Hunsinger. Our 3rd and final transfer, Gabe Griffin and Jerry Walford going to round out the top 5 here in this second heat. But nice pickup for AJ, up 5 spots from 8th to 3rd there, and doesn't have to worry about any consolation action. Heat race number 3 already gridding up. Row number 1 is going to be Matt Pridgeon and Richard Murtaugh Jr. Row number 2, Daniel Bradford and Brody Duche. Row number 3 is Trevor Williams and Eddie Fairness. Row 4 is going to be Anthony Brown and Davin Cardwell. Pardon me. Row 5 is going to be Ryan Howard and Sebastian Rios Davis. And as the cars begin to roll behind the pace truck here for our 3rd heat, these drivers have been able to watch the first 2 heats to see how the action unfolded. Now it's their time to get out on the racetrack to try to pick up into the top 3. Tim, I know you've been kind of quiet. How about you lead us, kick us off the green in heat race number 3?
Alrighty. I think we got one blanking out here.
Trying to see who maybe that is. I'm showing everybody on my end.
Well, for me, the 21's blanking out. I thought there was a card in 2nd that was blanking out.
It looks like he's okay for now, so.
Alrighty. Pace lights are off. Matt Bridgen is going to lead the field into 3. No, well, I guess we're not going.
You know, they might have gave us a few extra pace laps here to talk to the previous heat winner, but the last couple heats it seemed like they fired off pretty quick, so I didn't want to hinder our broadcast or the drivers previous, so they should be picking up the green flag this time here. Tim, take it away.
Matt Bridgen leads the field. He fires away. Gets a great launch. 3 wide already for third. Almost 4 wide. Beating and banging. Still for third. I believe that is Brody. Oh, Matt Bridgen. Wicked sideways. Still 3 wide in the back. Battle between Davin Cardwell and Brody for the transfer spot.
Yeah, and battle for the lead. Richard Murtaugh looking underneath Matt Pritchett out of turn number 2 right here. He's still going to be underneath him through 3, maybe almost contact right there in the center of 3 and 4. Matt's going to get the run on the high side, continue to lead. Brody Duche's got company from Davin Cardwell right behind him. Trevor Williams sitting in 5th. Eddie Fairness, who had the big jump on the initial start of that heat around the outside, he sits in 6th as he continues to have a little bit of connection issues, blinking just a bit. But Richard Murtaugh, a slider, and Matt's going to turn it back underneath him with a crossover and contact down the back straightaway for the race lead. Awesome.
I'll tell you what, boys, Murtaugh sold the farm on that move, and it paid off.
That he did. He muscled his way to the race lead. Now Matt Pridgen's going to have to deal with Brody Duche as he's to his inside looking for that second spot. Davin Cardwell also throwing his hat into the mix as he's going to run the inside underneath Brody out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. What a battle we have brewing for our final transfer spot. White flag goes in the air, just 1 lap left of this 3rd heat race.
And don't count out Trevor Williams either. Look at him go. He's come from 7th in the starting grid.
Absolutely, he's making his way back up. Hail Mary from Davin Cardwell on the inside to the line, and Brody's just going to inch ahead. Richard Murtaugh is going to win this 3rd heat. Matt Pridgen 2nd. Brody's going to be 3rd by a nose over Davin Cardwell. There, what a finish to cap off the end of our 3rd heat race. Heat race.
And guys, notice how much the track widened out just in that heat race right there. They're easily a car length and a half higher than our first 2 heat races, and look how good the racing was. I can't wait to see heat 4 and 5 here.
Yeah, absolutely. The racing is getting better with each and every lap. And this next heat's already gridding. Row number 1 is going to be Matthew Selby and Damian Kiefer. Row 2 is going to be Matt Sanders and Lakin Martin. Row number 3 is going to be Thomas Levister and Dakota Osborne. Row 4 is going to be Corey Castell and Wyatt Youngblood. Row 5 is going to be Sam Bachman and Mason Setting. The field is waiting patiently behind the pace truck. And they begin to roll. Richard Murtaugh was the winner of the last heat, correct? I'm already forgetting things.
Yes.
See if I can get a word in with him. Hey, Richard, you got a copy. It's broadcast booth.
Yep, I got you.
All right, we wanted to bring you in here with a quick word after your heat race win. How does it feel knowing you're locked into the big show?
Pretty good. I I was kind of hoping it'd be a lot slicker than this. We put a ton of time in just practicing the super slick, so kind of caught me off guard. That's why we qualified so bad. Premier's got a lot of guys in here, so once the track gets slick, I feel we'll all migrate to the front. So got a good team right now all set up here.
Absolutely, we
Richard,
appreciate.
looked like it widened out pretty good there toward the end of that heat race.
Yeah, we started moving up. I really didn't know where the guys behind me were running, but we just kept moving up higher and higher and just kind of getting that grip there, and it was working out.
All right, we already are underway here in the fourth heat. Top three: Matthew Selby, Damian Kiefer, Lakin Martin. Matt Sanders right on the rear bumper of Lakin Martin as they come already to complete lap number 3. Just 5 laps to go in this next heat. Battling just behind them, Thomas Levister, Corey Castell, 6th and 7th. That settles out just for the moment. Our top 4 running nose to tail out in the middle of the racetrack in both the corners.
And Tyler, right now, Lakin Martin knows that he is on the hot seat right now in that transfer position, but he does not want to settle there because Matt Sanders has been putting the pressure on and putting the pressure on here lap after lap, coming up on 2 to go this next time by. And there goes Sanders with a big old slider into 3 and 4. He makes it work. Martin turns back underneath him here with 2 to go.
Absolutely, what a battle is brewing here for the final transfer. Matt Sanders, Lakin Martin still side by side down into turn number 3. Martin on the inside, Sanders on the outside. Martin trying to push him up on corner exit. White flag goes in the air for Matthew Selby.
Slow car got out of the way. It towed. I apologize.
Down into turn 3 and 4. Selby around the top. Going to win this heat. To the line, Lakin Martin's going to nose ahead of Matt Sanders for that final transfer. There in 3rd. Damian Kiefer brings it home in 2nd. Dakota Osborne's going to bring it home in 5th there. For our heat. Wow, the action is certainly ramping up here tonight, Stephen.
I'll tell you what, give Lakin Martin a lot of credit there because he could have absolutely slammed the door shut on Matt Sanders. He gave him, there wasn't a lot of room, but he gave him just enough room to be up alongside. What a great finish there.
It absolutely was. Our 5th and final heat race of the night already taking the grid. Blake Andrews and Mark Mano, row number 1. Row 2 is going to be Luke Bishop and Max Miriovsky. Row 3 is going to be Jacob Allen and Devin Hauer. Row 4 is going to be Jake Menard and Donnie Badius. Row 5 is going to be Tyler Bickford and Brandon Mefford.
Field already pacing here with our 5th and final heat race of the night. Pretty stout field here. Going to be watching. I know he wanted to have a little better qualifying run, but going to be watching the promoter of the Northeast IMCA modified series, Jake Maynard, in that 69 ride, coming from the 7th starting spot here.
Absolutely, we'll be keeping an eye on it, definitely for the transfer spot here in this 5th and final heat. Blake Andrews, Mark Mano, Luke Bishop. Luke Bishop's on the hot seat. Max Miriovsky right now, the first car on the outside looking in. As I believe we should be going green on this lap. I was going to pull in the last heat race winner, but it kind of cut into the action just a little bit. That was the first time we're trying to do that here on the Buckeye Racing Network, so bear with us as we try to smoothen those things out for you folks at home. Blake Andrews stands on the gas. We're underway in the 5th and final heat race, and we're going to be side by side for 2nd down into turn number 1.
Ooh, good battle here between Mano and Bishop. They're still side by side here with the crossover by Mano into 3 and 4, but Bishop might have the preferred line, keeping the momentum up. He's got the spot at the line, but Mano's not giving up on it. Right there in 4th is Miriovsky in the 19. Good battle here. Top 4 nose to tail to 3 and 4.
Absolutely. Donnie Battius had a little bit of contact there on the previous lap back there with Brandon Mefford. They've fallen just a little bit off the pace, but side by side, that's going to be Devin Hauer and Jacob Allen. Don't look now. Here comes Jake Menard trying to make a run around the outside and improve his position. Is it going to be 3 wide, maybe? Yes, it is. Out of turn number 4, and they made it work. It's going to be 3 wide once again in 1 and 2. Crazy battling all through the field. Almost a major mishap there between Jake Menard and Jacob Allen. They gather it back in, and they are racing side by side for the race lead into turn 1.
What's interesting is every time Maynard's momentum gets broken, he's able to find a way to make contact and hard lick into the backstretch wall, and that's going to draw the yellow. And amazingly, Tyler, out of all these heat races, our first yellow flag of the night coming here in heat race number 5.
Absolutely. We'll try to get a look back at what unfolded there to bring out our first and only yellow flag so far in the heat race action. Keep an eye on that number 69 car on the screen. Let's see, he makes contact. No, he just had a big run and then tried to check up to miss the car in front of him and got tagged in the left rear and had heavy damage breaking the left front suspension on that race car, so he had to bring it down the pit lane. Unfortunate there for Jake Menard, as he's now back in 10th and sitting on pit lane with repairs. But I can't say enough. I know we're already in our 5th heat and final one, but awesome racing, really close battling. It's been fun to watch, both Steven and Tim.
I agree. It's been a great night for racing.
It absolutely has. Tim, how about you bring us to the restart here?
Blake Andrews is going to lead the field. He's away. He leads Luke Bishop, Mark Mano, Max Mariovsky, and Devin Hauer. We have a battle for second. That battle is no more. Single file all the way throughout the field. No true battles as of yet.
Yeah, Blake Andrews going to work out of turn 4 to the white flag here. Luke Bishop second, Mark Mano currently in the 3rd and final transfer spot. Max Mariovsky's trying to get that thing wound up around the outside. Going to try to turn it underneath. Wow, really clean racing there. He didn't wipe him out through turns 3 and 4. Mark Mano is going to be our 3rd and final transfer car. Luke Bishop and Blake Andrews, who wins our 5th and final heat. All of our heat race winners earned $20, $10 from QuickTime Promotions and another $10 from Williams Junk Removal. So already into the earning category tonight for all of our heat race winners.
I'll tell you, tip your cap to Mariovsky there, because he definitely had an opportunity to make a decision to try to get into the show, and he went with the sportsman, the classy move, and I tip my cap to him for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We roll the starting grid of Tim. What is this, the D main, or are we further back than that?
This is the C main.
All right. How many are transferring to the tail of the B?
That would be 3. Well, it's saying 3 go straight to the feature.
Okay, 3 would go straight to the feature. Row number 1 is going to be Aaron Bowman and Davin Cardwell. Row 2 is going to be Max Mariovsky and Jerry Walford. Row 3 is going to be Dakota Osborne and Corey Boudinot. Row 4, Eddie Fairness and Jacob Allen. Row 5 is going to be Dale Fairness and Corey Castile. Row 6 is going to be Glenn Townsend and Sebastian Rios Davis. Row number 7, Donnie Battius, Jason Rochelle. Row 8, Wyatt Youngblood and Kendrick Hom. And row 9, Ryan Howard. All right, 20 laps the distance, so a little bit more here. 17 cars, only for 3 transfer spots. Directly into tonight's big show here with the League of Outlaws.
Tyler, what's your strategy here? 20 laps is a long way to go. You know, what's your strategy here if you're one of these guys that's going to start in one of those 3 transfer spots?
Hell, if I was one of those drivers in the top 3, I'd tell you I would just try to be as smooth as possible, keep up as much momentum as I can, and try to gap myself if I'm third or even the lead. Try to put a little bit of distance between myself and the cars behind me, and try to hold on as best I can to a transfer spot here tonight.
This is going to get gnarly, boys.
I believe it will. This is, if you don't transfer through this one, you're going to have to put the car on the hauler for the night, unfortunately. And only 3 of the 17 are going to continue to race on for $150 to win in the feature in just a little while. Steven, if you'd like, you can bring us to the green flag here in the C main.
Yeah, absolutely. Field right now gathered up behind the iRacing pace vehicle. And we talked about some nerves in the heat race. I think we're going to be talking about a whole lot of nerves here in this C main as the field is gathered up good here. This is going to be, you know, and you know, let's remember too, you know, a lot of these drivers were right on the cusp of making the big dance right from their heat races. So you're already on edge a little bit because you just missed out on a qualifying spot. Here's your opportunity to make the big show. Green flag is out. It's going to be Aaron Bowman and Davin Cardwell leading us here through turns 1 and 2. And Cardwell is not going to wait. He wants to take the race lead into turn 3. He'll take a move to the outside. Meanwhile, they're 2 by 2 behind him. Top 3 rows now make it top 4 rows as we've got a little bit of contact. 2 cars coming together, and they're going to stack up like an accordion here in 1 and 2. Right now we stay green, but what a battle up front here.
Yeah, Davin Cardwell, Aaron Bowman, Jerry Walford, your top 3. Walford's going to be looking underneath Bowman through turns 1 and 2. 3-wide battle just behind them. Bodno, Mariovsky, and Osborne battling for that 4th place position. Bodno's looking to throw his hat in the mix, battling for 3rd, and Jerry Walford moves into 2nd. Davin Cardwell's doing what I said you'd want to do, is put some distance between yourself and the rest of the field. He's up almost 0.7 of a second over the battle for 2nd right now.
Wow, look at how good this racing is right now as they are still 2 by 2 from positions 3 all the way back, and now they're 3 wide just behind these guys. But right now, 2 by 2 for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Remember, top 3 are going to go to the big dance here. And right now, Mariovsky is trying as hard as he can. As right now, we've got 3 distinct grooves being used right now as Mariovsky closes up, trying to battle here for the 4th spot.
Mariovsky for sure is. I believe Dakota Osborne's working the inside. He's kind of sneaking, working the bottom part of the racetrack, trying to get around the 34 machine of Corey Bodeno. Not quite able to do it this time through 3 and 4, but like you said, Max has got that car wound up around the outside. He is to the back bumper of Aaron Bowman as they exit turn 2.
Yeah, right now, good battle going on between Bodeno and the 79 of Dakota Osborne. And I think Dakota Osborne's kind of taken that Novocaine approach. Just going to keep doing it and keep doing it. Be smooth, and eventually it's going to pay off for him as we're just shy of the halfway point. So we still got a long ways to go. And right now, Osborne's starting to creep ahead of the 34 of Bodeno. So that's a good battle for position right there behind Mariovsky.
Absolutely, it was. Just a couple positions back, the number 21 machine of Eddie Fairness. He gets guided into the outside wall. The last time almost jumps the cushion. This time does make contact with the wall, exiting 4 as the 55 machine of Corey Castell looks to his inside. That's a battle for 8th on the racetrack. Back up to the battle for 5th. Dakota and Corey still side by side as they come across the stripe and into turn 1.
If you took a look down at your cell phone and looked back up, you're probably like, boy, have they been racing any laps at all? Because the 79 of Osborne, the 34 of Bodeno have been battling like this lap after lap after lap. But as I say that, coming up here on 7-8 laps to go, I'm telling you guys, Osborne, I think, has got something to work with here. He's staying nice, smooth, and steady on the bottom. And if he keeps doing that, he's going to find a transfer spot before this is done.
I believe so, as he's trying to put Max Miriovsky in his rearview mirror as they work through 3 and 4 and set his sights on third-place runner right now, Aaron Bowman, as he just about completes that pass. Back up front, just a quick check. Davin Cardwell still leads the way about 8.9 of a second over Jerry Walford in second place. Now Dakota has been able to move past Max Miriovsky. He is solo fourth right now and trying to reach the back bumper of Aaron Bowman.
If you're Aaron Bowman's spotter right now, I'm wondering what they're saying to him if he's got a spotter here tonight, because Osborne is making the bottom work. The question is, does he have enough time to try to get to Bowman to try to make a move? And if he gets to that back bumper, we've seen him run the bottom this whole race. Is he going to have to do something different to try to get by? We've got 3 laps until the finish here.
Yeah, lap times Dakota has been a tick faster, but he's going to have to gain a little more time as laps are not on his side of the moment. Davin Cardwell jumps the cushion a little bit, our race leader, as he crosses the stripe for 2 to go. Maybe an issue a little further back.
Big time problem for Eddie Farnes.
White flag goes in the air, and Dakota Osborne has given it all it's got here on this final lap of the C main. Is he going to be able to get there? I don't think he's going to be able to. Bowman with a defensive line through 3 and 4. Osborne, all he can do. Davin Cardwell wins the C. Jerry Walford's going to bring it home second. Aaron Bowman, our third and final transfer spot, but you got to give it up for the 79 machine of Dakota Osborne. Wow, what action we have seen.
Boy, that one makes you wipe your brow, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. I'm telling you what, they've got me heated up here in the booth tonight as the B main is already taking the grid behind the Pace truck. Starting lineup, row number 1. Go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say, why don't you bring up the C main winner here?
Go for it if you can do it. Wait a moment and try to get him up in the booth for everybody at home as they're rolling. You know, we got a lot of drivers to sift through to try to get our C main winner up here. Were you able to locate him, Tim?
I was. Hey, Davin, it's the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Man, you won. You got your spot into the feature. How's it feel knowing that you're locked in?
I wish we was starting farther up, but I mean, I guess this is the best we can do so far with burying ourselves in qualifying. So all we can do is just try to go forward here.
And Steven, Tyler, you guys got any questions for him?
Yeah, just good luck for the rest of the night, man, and we're going to get ready and get underway in this B main.
Yes, sir. Hope to see y'all here in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Davin.
Yep.
Starting lineup, at least the first couple rows, going to be Gabe Griffin and Matt Sanders, Jared Murphy, Trevor Williams, Devin Hauer, Brandon Moe, Thomas Levister, Hunter Karsten, Anthony Brown, Tyler Bickford, Dustin Glenn, Sam Bachman. That's the first 6 rows. Row 7, Derek Darnell, Daniel Bradford, Brandon Mefford, James Braswell, Mason Setting, Jake Menard is going to round out our B main here tonight. A little bit less laps in this B main, I believe. And we're going to be taking 5 cars, correct?
Nope. 3 again.
3?
I don't know. That's what it's saying on my info.
If we had 5 heats of 3 cars, that'd be 15. If we only take 3 here, that'd be 18. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind.
21 total
Yeah.
cars.
You're right. You're right. My mind must be slipping from all this racing action here tonight. Nonetheless, we're about to get underway here as we're 2x2 working through turn 3 and 4. Gabe Griffin stands on the gas. Green flag goes in the air. And he leads us down into turn number 1.
Boy, Griffin got out to a great start there, as we've got him 2x2 here, or almost 3 wide here, coming off of turn 4. Trevor Williams trying to get it gathered back in. He wants to go after Jared Murphy here for the transfer spot as the leaders are side by side.
Yeah, Matt Sanders threw a big slider in 2-3 the last time around. That's how he got the race lead. Gabe Griffin finds himself in second. Jared Murphy in that final transfer spot with Trevor Williams right on his tail. Just behind them in a battle for the 6th, 7th, 8th position. Devin Howard, Anthony Brown, Thomas Levister, even throw Hunter Carson into the mix as they are nose to tail out of turn 4.
I talked about patience being a factor. Well, I'll tell you what, these guys right here running 6th, 7th, and 8th and 5th, they don't have the time to be patient right now. The time to go is now. Yes, you've got 20 laps to get the job done, but you start to see the top 4 or 5 cars are starting to break away from the rest of the pack. So for these guys back here, from Anthony Brown on back, they've got to move, and they got to move now.
Absolutely. I think a couple cars had an issue. Mason Setting and Sam Bachman. Sam Bachman sitting on the pit lane. Unfortunate for him, as that might end his night here tonight. Back up front, Matt Sanders almost out to a half-second advantage. Now 0.6 of a second over Gabe Griffin. Jared Murphy is under heavy fire from Trevor Williams out of turn number 2. Brandon Moe sitting in 5th, Anthony Brown 6th, Devin Hauer challenged to the inside by the 22 machine of Thomas Levister as he's trying to make the bottom part of the Speedway work.
Right now, battling for position number 3, battling for position number 5, as Trevor Williams going into his tool belt, trying to figure out a way to get by Jared Murphy, who has got that right rear tire planted on the cushion all the way around the racetrack right now. And right now I see Williams. Oh, and then we got a yellow here. Yellow flag coming out here on lap number 9.
Yellow flag, the first yellow so far in this B main. I believe it happened in the area of James Braswell. We'll take a look at it here. He is the number 18 machine. They make contact. It was towards the tail of the field. Man, those cars just drove in hot and heavy, and they kind of locked together. The 24 and the 18 together made heavy contact with the outside wall. I believe Dustin Glenn was the 24, and James Braswell with the heavier damage, as that car was not able to get off of the outside retaining wall. So he has that car in the pit lane, or just had it in the pit lane for repair. That's going to reset things up front and bunch us right back up. So Trevor Williams, Brandon Moe, Anthony Brown, the likes of Devin Howard, Thomas Levister, all have a shot to get up to the back bumper and challenge Jared Murphy for that final transfer spot.
Tyler, I'm going to tell you right now, if those boys are battling like that for 13th when we're taking the top 3, I cannot wait to see the second half of this B main. The gloves are about to come off, my friend.
They absolutely are. Out of turn number 4. Green flag goes back in the air. Oh, and they stack it up big. Jared Murphy gets turned around on the inside, and it's going to bring out the next yellow flag. I'll tell you what, they just did not get going on the inside, and the accordion effect was real out of turn number 4. We'll take a look at a quick replay of it here. Keep an eye on the number 1 machine. You're going to see Sanders fires, but the car jumps so sideways that Jared Murphy, I think, was already into the back of him. And by that time, everybody else was gassing it up, and they just turned Jared completely around. The 13, the 99, the 316, all with damage. They're out of turn number 4. Unfortunate for at least Jared. He was in the transfer spot. Now he's going to find himself at the tail.
No, the race control has everyone going back to where they were.
Okay, well, good for Jared in that scenario because he would have been at the tail. So Matt Sanders, Gabe Griffin, Jared Murphy, Trevor Williams is going to be your first 2 rows. Behind them is going to be Anthony Brown and Brandon Moe.
And that's a huge break there for Brandon Moe too, because he lost about 6 or 7 spots. He, really wasn't, didn't spin, didn't get tied up necessarily, but got bogged down enough that he lost a bunch of spots. So he's going to benefit greatly from that too.
Absolutely. So Jared at least is going to be back into 3rd, still able to transfer in tonight. But Trevor Williams, he didn't get any damage from that, but he's going to be tough to handle battling for that final transfer spot. Matt Sanders fires once again, a much cleaner start up front. So he's going to lead us down into turn 1. Side by side, Trevor Williams, Jared Murphy for 3rd. Williams up on the outside, Murphy on the inside. I'm wondering if that damage will play any effect into how Jared's able to continue on. Although the car looks to be just fine, we're going to keep an eye on it though.
Yeah, Trevor Williams trying to get it whipped up on the top shelf here. He's going upstairs there where Mama hides the cookies, trying to take home that 3rd and final transfer spot. Good battle as they are side by side. Oh, they make a little contact going into turn 3. Williams skates up the hill. Murphy's going to get by, but look at the momentum that Williams, now he's going to cross him over and go to the bottom of turns 1 and 2. What a race.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, Anthony Brown's eyes got real big there the last time around as he is right there as well. Uh-oh, Williams, Murphy, contact again. Williams is going to lose some momentum. Brown's on his outside into turn 3, and he's also challenged to the inside by the 316 of Devin Hauer.
I'll tell you what, Anthony Brown is doing the YMCA in his car right now. He is sawing on that wheel, trying to keep his momentum up on the cushion, and what a show he's putting on right now. Good run, though, here for Devin Hauer, as he's now back up into the mix.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
he is. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, look out. In 3 and 4, he's all the way basically touching that wall. He goes up top this time.
That time he does.
I stand corrected.
Still, Jared Murphy still in 2nd. Quick check up front. Matt Sanders leads Gabe Griffin as Gabe Griffin's right on his rear bumper. Jared Murphy has about a car length and a half, maybe 2 now advantage over Jared Murphy over Trevor Williams with just 2 laps to go.
Trevor Williams is in send it mode right now. He's got a lap and a half left to try to make a move to get into the big dance for the Spring Nationals. Oh, Murphy went to the bottom. That's big. That was a good way to protect his line there as they come into 3 and 4 for the final time. Who's going to the big show?
Trevor Williams threw the big slider, but he raced clean. Jared Murphy's going to be our 3rd and final transfer car, as well as Gabe Griffin and Matt Sanders. Trevor Williams, Devin Hauer, Anthony Brown, and the likes of Thomas Levester and company, all not able to transfer into the big show here tonight. These drivers that have made it, though, into the big show here tonight, they are at least racing to get their money back.
We might have to talk to Jared Murphy. If his nerves have settled down, well, I'd love to hear from his perspective.
Absolutely. I think, Tim, can we see about getting a word in with Jared here?
Yes, I will bring him up.
All right, we'll try to
find him.
talk to Jared Murphy here while we have about 4 or so minutes here. All the drivers are on the racetrack right now for the warm-up session.
All right, here you go.
All right, Jared Murphy, that's the guys up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We've got to know what you were feeling there ending that B main.
I was happy running third because that caution came out. And something happened on the start. I got into the leader. I don't know if he spun the tires or what. I made a fool out of myself, and then I feel terrible for Trevor Williams. I did not know I knew he was out there, but I thought I left enough room for him. I did not want to wreck him like that. But I put in the show, so I'm planning on going to the front right here.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on you. Steven or Tib, you have anything to ask Jared?
Well, I appreciate the show that you guys were putting on there, Jared. So, you know, now we look ahead. 50 long laps here. You're in the feature. That's the first check box. What's it going to take to get to the front tonight?
I think all you got to do is right here, keep the car clean and keep the tires under it for the long run. It's a 50-lap race. So my plan is just kind of ride around right here and keep the nose clean and see if I'm there at the end.
Absolutely, Jared. Appreciate you getting a word in here with us, and we'll let you get prepped up here for 50 long laps at Lanier.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely, and that was the number 1 car of Jared Murphy, who's going to be having to battle his way through the field here in this A main in just a few moments. Well, Tim, I know we do this each and every night that we call races. Who do you have your eye on tonight before we begin this feature?
Oh man, there's 21 names to choose from. You just had to beat me to it. I'm gonna go with the Murphy, one of the Murphy brothers. I'm gonna go and keep my eyes on James Murphy.
All right, I like it. I think I'm going to take the likes of Blade Wisdom. He had a really fast car in his qualifying effort. Really good car in his heat race, so I'm going to keep my eye on Blade Wisdom. How about you tonight, Steven?
Well, I want to see somebody charge from the back of the pack, and I've had I had my eye on a guy all night long tonight. He's going to have to come from the 16th starting spot. My eyes on the 70 car of Davin Cardwell.
All right, we're going to have our eye on a definite few guys. Davin Cardwell, Jared Murphy's going to have to come from the back, so it'll definitely be interesting to see them charge their way through the field. 50 laps is a long time. You can definitely see the track has taken on some rubber for sure. So we're going to see potentially the bottom and the outside line work well for these drivers. As we have just about a minute left here in the warm-up session. And again, another shout out to Plum Wild Podcast. They sponsored all the yellow flags. I know we had a couple, and I for sure forgot in the heat of the moment that Plum Wild was sponsoring the yellow flag periods here tonight. Definitely a big shout out to them, and SimRacerHub being a part of this. Rick Sparks Auto Sales being the presenting sponsor here tonight for the League of Outlaws IMCA style Spring Nationals. I know these drivers are amped up and ready to go. There is money on the line. You at least get back your entry fee, and the winner tonight is going to take home $150. Second place is going to pay $110. Third is going to bring home $90 here tonight. Our first big money race here on the Buckeye Racing Network, and we've been happy to bring it to you folks at home. I hope you're enjoying it as much as we have in the booth here tonight. As the end of our warm-up session, and we are going to roll right into the starting lineup here for tonight's 50-lap A-Main. Row number 1 is going to be Blade Wisdom and Nathan Waddell. Row 2 is going to be Richard Murtaugh Jr. and Matthew Selby. Row 3 is going to be Blake Andrews and James Murphy. Row 4 is going to be Trevor Doyle and Matt Pridgeon. Row 5 is going to be Damian Kiefer and Luke Bishop. Row 6 is going to be Connor New and AJ Hunsinger. Row number 7 is going to be Brody Duche and Lakin Martin. Row 8 is going to be Mark Mano and Davin Cardwell. Row 9 is going to be Matt Sanders and Jerry Walford. Row number 10 is going to be Gabe Griffin and Aaron Bowman. And the shotgun starter on the field here tonight is going to be Jared Murphy. "21 cars start, 50 awesome laps." Man, I am so amped up and ready to see what unfolds. And like you said, Steven, are we going to have one of those hard chargers from the back to the front?
Yeah, as the field rolls off here, and they're getting ready to get in formation here, and I know we talked about nerves in qualifying and the heat races, and even for those drivers that were on the outside looking in, trying to get into the big show. Well, all these guys are in the big show, and I imagine the nerves are ratcheted right up here. It's a $1,000 purse tonight, which is nothing to sneeze at. $150 to the winner. You got your entry just to make the show. So, really anything from here on out, you make the top 15, you make a little money tonight.
Absolutely. These drivers are getting in formation. 4 wide for us up here in the booth and for everybody watching at home on the Buckeye Racing Network. Again, we can't thank you enough for tuning in here and watching this awesome racing action tonight from the Lanier Speedway. And what a wonderful sight. You don't see anything like this except for dirt track racing, and it's always good to see the 4 wide salute.
And let's tip our caps to these drivers too, because I'm sure there's a lot of drivers out here that either don't do this often or have never done this before, and this is looking great.
It absolutely is. I know some drivers, especially if you're on a single monitor in the sim, it does make it difficult because you're having to watch out of the left and the right-hand sides of the screen. If you have triple set up, it is quite a bit easier. You see the pace truck making his way back around, and our field's going to get in 2x2 formation so we can get kicked off here. So they're going to catch back up to the pace truck. Really well, like you said, Steven, really well executed from everybody here for the 4 wide salute. Chris Cox says on the YouTube chat, are they doing a 3 wide start? I don't know, but it would be very interesting if they did.
It may not be a 3 wide start, but I can tell you they're going to be 3 wide before long after the start.
Yeah, absolutely they will be. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of 3 wide racing action. Especially, like you said, Davin Cardwell, Jared Murphy are right on the tail. He's going to have to make some moves to get to the front. His brother, James, sitting in the 6th position, sitting really well to try to move up and win the Spring Nationals here tonight. If you've watched with us on the Buckeye Racing Network, all the League of Outlaws events, James Murphy is always fast night in and night out, so that's another driver. I know he's starting closer to the front, but he always finds himself either leading or right there for the race win when it counts. All right.
So it looks like from race control, Tyler, we're coming to green this time.
All right, the green flag's going to be displayed this time for us. Pace truck's going to peel on off. Blade Wisdom's going to be in control of the start. Green flag goes in the air. We're ready to rock and roll from Lanier for 50 big laps. Into turn 1, Wisdom's going to take the early lead down the back straightaway. Side by side, that's going to be Blake Andrews, Matthew Selby. That's a battle for 3rd, and they are 3 wide, like we said, just behind for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Almost 4 wide now as they race into turn number 1.
Everybody moving and grooving, shucking and jiving here as they work into the corner. Right now, I see one guy trying to make some moves here. That was Matt Pridgeon. He was our fast timer from practice and has had a pretty solid night here right now, working that outside lane, trying to pull up on the 65 of James Murphy.
Yeah, he absolutely is, as he's kind of in a thick battle here. Almost, it is 4 wide out of turn 4 this time, as he is right on James Murphy's tail. Quick check back up to the...
We got a car that was stopped on the bottom of the racetrack there.
Might have been Matt Sanders in the 2. The green flag stays in the air, but we have a battle for our race lead. Now the yellow flag does display for the first time here tonight. That's going to be the first Plum Wild yellow flag caution period for our feature action. Let's go back and take a look as I'm trying to see what... Yeah, it was Matt Sanders with the issue. I'm trying to find out exactly what happened to Matt. I don't know if he made hard contact with the wall, but he was slow on the bottom part of the racetrack.
Oh, it was lap 2. There was an incident in the middle of the field coming out of turn 2. You got hard contact. I think it acted normal, and then it finally gave way, and he was just not able to turn down into the pits the first time around.
Yeah, and like you said, Stephen, he was stopped on the inside of turns number 1 and 2. I think most everybody got around him without an issue, but towards the back of the pack where they were 3 and 4 wide, it got kind of hairy with those drivers trying to work around.
Yeah, Cardwell almost packed him there. I mean, and I get it. You know, you want to draw the yellow flag, but I don't know the center of the corner is the best place to do it as we get ready to go back to green.
Yeah, green flag goes back in the air. Nathan Waddell is going to try to take advantage on the outside out of turn 2. He almost able to, but he's going to have to tuck in line in second as they are 3 wide once again for that 5th place position. Blake Andrews, Damian Kiefer, a couple others, Luke Bishop's all right there. My goodness.
Wow.
Go ahead, Steve.
There was a wreck, Tyler, that just didn't happen right there.
Absolutely. A little further back, I'm just scanning through the field because there is action everywhere. There are 3 wide. That's Gabe Griffin, Davin Cardwell, Aaron Brown. Cardwell's only up 1 spot so far. Jared Murphy finds himself 18th up 3. He's just working the inside, tailing the field for the moment.
Mark this down. If Matt Selby wins this race tonight, he was about ready to call Mama home for a ride. He was headed toward the grandstands and somehow got it corrected. And look at these guys. And I'll tell you, they're trading pain out here. They're racing really good, though. Even though there's a little bit of contact, this is a contact sport. They are racing with a lot of respect, and it'd be interesting to see how this changes over the course of the races. We're about 20% of the way through.
Absolutely. Our first 5 now single file. The battle is for 6th. Kiefer, Bishop, Selby all battling right there. Selby is going to be able to move up into 5th. Bishop and Blake Andrews now battling on the inside part of the racetrack as our second yellow flag has waved.
Aaron Bowman was around with Trevor Doyle.
Aaron Bowman, yeah, he's in the 44 machine here in the center of the screen. Let's see what happened. The exit turn 2. Trevor's car kind of got loose, turned right down into Bowman in the 44, and he hits the outside of the back straightaway wall pretty hard, and it looks like he's got some suspension damage there. Trevor Doyle, his car looks to be okay. He's got a little bit of cosmetic damage on the front end of his race car, but he's going to be able to continue without bringing that machine down the pit lane.
Stephen, I know you said there was a wreck that never even happened. And I'm sitting there watching, and I've seen like 3 of them so far. Wow.
Yeah, I was about ready to key up and do the old MRN trouble in turn 2, and it just never happened. It was about to, but it didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen awesome 3 wide action. Blade Wisdom still the race leader, led all the laps so far up to this point. Nathan Waddell finds himself still second. Richard Murtaugh still third. Connor New, a pretty big mover. He's up about 7 or 8 spots from his starting spot, sitting here in the 4th place position.
Yeah, +7 since the start of the race. Pretty good right there. Brody's made up some spots here as well, as has Luke Bishop. And Bishop started to enter that 3-car battle for the 5 spot here before that yellow flag. So going to be interesting to see what Bishop has here on this restart. He was running the bottom lane, and that's where he's going to restart here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep an eye on that number 2 machine as he continues his trek forward, as well as the 210 of Connor New, who's going to restart on the outside. Still a lot of laps left to go here. 40 laps still left to go. As the lights are out on the Pace truck, we're going to get back underway the next time these guys cross the start-finish line. Lakin, Martin, Jerry Wolford, and Matt Sanders. Looks like Matt Sanders still running with us, so isn't Jerry, but Lakin's loaded that car on the trailer for the night. Pace truck peels off. Green flag goes back in the air. Side by side for the first 3 and 4, 5, 6 rows into turn number 1. Waddell going to get the big run out of turn 2, and he's challenging Blade for the race lead as they pinch each other.
Oh,
Oh my
over
goodness. Pridgeon gets turned around. And I don't know if that car is hurt. He's trying to drive it back around. We'll take a look at that. I think it was just a big accordion effect there through 3 and 4. You see Pridgeon there in the number 14 machine. He was following James Murphy on the bottom. The 05 kind of sends it in on Matt's inside. I don't think Matt was expecting that. That got Matt's car sideways. The 05 ramps up over the nose of the 14 machine and continues on. And it looks like everybody else was able to make their way around Matt in the 14. So
Gabe Griffin going to serve an EOL penalty there from race control, and looked like he just kind of overcooked it a little bit and couldn't quite nail the bottom like I think he intended to, and so he'll go back to the back of the pack here for the restart.
Yeah,
Gabe.
Go ahead.
Gabe treating Pridgeon like one of them crush cars for Gravedigger in a freestyle run there.
Yeah, absolutely. He sent it in a little bit too much steam, and race control was able to see that, and so he gets the EOL to tail the field. He's going to be scored now in the 18th position. Or now 17th, excuse me. Pace truck peels off. We are back underway. I tell you what, the 2 machine of Luke Bishop was looking to the inside there down the front straightaway, as he's going to keep that car down low. Still running in 7th. Connor New now finds himself just inching into 3rd as he's right on the back bumper of Nathan Waddell into turn number 1.
Oh, Connor New is rolling the top right now. Takes the 3rd spot away from Murtaugh, and he's going after more here into 3 and 4. Looking at Waddell for the 2nd spot as we cross the line here with 14 laps on the board. And here comes Connor New. He has found something, Tyler, right through the middle of the black, through the center of the corner.
He absolutely has, and he's battling hard with Nathan Waddell for the 2nd place position, as he's maybe trying to pinch it just a little bit. I'm not sure, but he inches ahead down the back straightaway, and they're still side by side. And he might be setting his sights now on the 22 machine of Blade Wisdom.
So put Connor New up to the 2 spot. That's going to, as he's going to try to close in on Wisdom here for the lead. We're going to take a look here at the battle that's shaping up with Richard Murtaugh, the 46 of Selby, and the 26 of Kiefer. They're all battling right now. And I gotta wonder, Tyler, if drivers that are seeing what Connor New's doing right now, how many guys are going to change their lane and try to go through the middle like he's been doing? All these guys back here are right now running the bottom. Maybe it's, they're not able to get the car to rotate like he is. The one that I see trying to do it right now is Luke Bishop.
Yeah, Luke Bishop is trying to run a similar line. Uh-oh, the 3 almost gets help from the number 9. That's Blake Andrews and Brody Duche. They both gather it back in and continue. As Damian Kiefer missed the bottom part of the racetrack and kind of slid up and held up Luke Bishop's momentum in the center. He had to back out of it to keep from running into Damian. They continue on, all single file through the top 7 or 8. Blake Andrews just looking to the inside of Luke Bishop, and he's going to fall back in line out of turn number 4.
I see a lot of guys kind of settling in here right now, Tyler, trying to log some laps and, you know, try to keep that nose clean as best you can, as we're just shy of the halfway point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, Connor New has inched his way closer to Blade Wisdom. Only 0.3 of a second separate first and second. Nathan Waddell still comfortably running in third. Richard Murtaugh sits in fourth. Like you said, everybody's just kind of minding their business, settling in. Still a long way to go. Everybody probably saving some tire, as that's going to play a role late in the going here at Lanier.
Yeah, and we heard Jared Murphy talk about that. Not only keeping the nose clean, but don't burn the tires off, don't spin them, don't abuse stuff. And, I think that's really ringing true here as we come up on the halfway point here, and New is really starting to dig now for the lead.
He is, and he's still running in that middle line. That's where he's made up all of his ground. He's still going to run there. Blade chooses to run near the wall on the inside part of the racetrack. But I'm telling you, New is right there, and he's going to be challenging for the race lead out of turn number 2 as he's got some nose into turn number 3. Is he going to be able to complete it this time out of 4? Not quite. The bottom still working for now for Blade Wisdom.
Connor New goes to the outside lane as they work down the stretch here, coming into turns 3 and 4. He started 11th. He's looking for the race lead as they'll come down to put 28 laps on the board, 22 to go. And Connor New says the time to go is now. I can't wait until the last 10 laps of the race. I want to get out and get this lead and set the pace for that final run as they make contact here off of turn 4. Battle for the lead in turn 1.
Connor New on the outside. Blade Wisdom had to gather that car in out of turn 4. I'll tell you, them two being side by side has brought Nathan Waddell and Richard Murtaugh as the 4th Plum Wild yellow flag comes out. We're going to take a look and see exactly what happened. The number 9 machine of Brody Duche with a little bit of, there was contact in front of him. He sneaks by, and then he just gets sent by the number 2 machine as he drove it into the corner so hard into turn number 1. I think the 2 was a little upset with how he was raced. That was Luke Bishop. He was a little upset with the driver that he made contact with down the front straightaway, and he kind of sent Brody Duche, and I think not trying to as he was racing so hard. I'm trying to see who that was. Let's go back and take another look who Luke Bishop was having an issue with. That would be the 3 machine there, and I'm not sure who that is, but they were making big contact there out of turn 4, and Brody Duche just an innocent bystander, I believe, from those 2 beating and banging into turn 1. As the field's going to double file once again. Got a couple more laps under this yellow flag, this Plum Wild yellow flag period.
One driver I'm going to be interested to watch here, and he's going to start on that outside lane, Tyler, is Richard Murtaugh. We're down to about 21 laps to go, and I don't think Richard has really shown his cards yet here in this one. He's there in that top 4 spots here coming to this restart, and going to be interested to see what he tries to pull out of the hat here as we come back to green.
Absolutely. We saw both Richard and Nathan catch up to our 2 leaders when they were battling side by side. So we know Richard has saved some tire. Nathan may have been able to save some tire, as well as a couple other drivers out here. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe even Blade Wisdom or Connor New is struggling a bit on this restart. So we're going to work down the back straightaway. Steven, how about you bring us to the green flag?
All right, it's going to be Wisdom, New, Waddell, Murtaugh. Top 4 coming back to the green flag. 21 laps, now make it 20 laps to go. Here in the League of Outlaws, Spring Nationals, and we've got a new race leader from 11th to 1st.
Oh, no.
And we've got trouble. The big one here at Lanier in turn number 3.
My goodness, Blade Wisdom's missing the left front on that race car as you see it roll down to the inside concrete walls. Big damage for Blade Wisdom. He got help from behind. He did not get out of turn number 2 very well. We're going to try to decipher this accident.
Turns 3 and 4 turning into a Walmart Supercenter parking lot.
That it did. We're taking a look at the 22. You're going to see him. He gets help from Murtaugh. Kinds of sends his car sideways. Waddell was already down there on the inside. And they make contact, and then everybody else carrying all their momentum just kind of packs in. You see James Murphy there in the 65 trying to get by. He makes a little contact. Anthony Hunsinger, a little bit of damage. Trevor Doyle, nowhere to go, was unable to get around Blade Wisdom, but I tell you, Blade Wisdom was probably, the worst off there, as he's got big suspension damage on the left front of that race car, as he's still in the pit lane and he's still missing a left front. I don't think that's going to work.
Blade giving new meaning to leave the left front at home there.
Yeah.
And Tim, I love your analogy, man, with the Walmart parking lot. I always loved the late model announcer that said they were stacked, packed, smothered, and covered, like Waffle House. Rick Eshelman.
Absolutely. Boy, we've been blessed with some good announcers throughout the years, through all the Dirt Series leagues. And another quick note here, I'm taking a look at Blake Andrews in the 03 machine, and the left front is hurt on his race car. So that's going to affect his performance throughout the rest of the racing action here tonight. But Connor New finds himself in the race lead, now up 10 spots. Matthew Selby, Richard Murtaugh right there as well. Selby's going to be on the outside of Connor New. Murtaugh on the inside of row 2.
And I'll tell you what, boys, we've got a whole different race right now than what we had on that last restart. We've got a whole new front row, and we got more cars now into the top 5 that were well outside of the top 5 before the big incident here.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if Connor New is able to hold on and maybe pull away from these guys, and if Murtaugh, Selby, Kiefer have anything left in the tank and some tire to battle Connor New here in these final 20 laps.
Wow, the restart's going to be everything here. And I know we still got 20 laps to go, but we've been on a couple long green flag runs here, and if that's what this turns into, man, this restart's going to be pivotal here for New and for Murtaugh.
It absolutely is. As I believe we're getting close to going back to green flag racing action here. see, are the lights out this time? I cannot tell. The field's still working around. I believe most every car is out except for Lake and Martin. Like I said, he has called it a night already. Oh, whoa. There is the 0-3 machine of Blake Andrews. I saw him get real sideways. He was just turning that car to go into the pit lane. He's got that left front damage, so he's going to bring it down and try to get some repair. Uh-oh, and more contact as he works his way through the pit lane.
Yeah, that was a directive from race control. They were worried and concerned that tire was going to fall off on the restart here, and an unfortunate decision, but a decision that I think race control had to make for the betterment of the race here. We don't need that falling off and causing our next big incident here. So it's a tough call to make, but I get why they had to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Blake didn't want to see that happen, but safety for the rest of all these other drivers, and to be able to continue under green as we are back underway. Murtaugh all over the back bumper of Connor New. Matthew Selby kind of beating and banging a little bit there through turn number 1 to try to push his way into the second place position, as there's James Murphy and Damian Kiefer side by side battling for the 4th spot. Davin Cardwell, there's your driver, Stephen. He finds himself up to 6th.
I was just going to say, don't look now, but here he comes, 16th up to 6th here on this restart. And now look at the battle for the race lead. Murtaugh starting to flex a little bit of muscle here. He got tied up with Selby on that initial restart, but now that we're under a little bit of a green flag run here, Murtaugh's going to work on Connor New. And the question I have right now, Tyler, is did Connor New abuse the tires a little bit to get to where he is right now? He had to start 11th, and he had a lot of work to do early on. Question is, did he burn it up getting there, and is Murtaugh just licking his chops right now?
I think you may be onto something, as we see James Murphy getting a little bumper from Matthew Selby as he moves up into the 4th spot there. But back to your point, I think New is maybe going to struggle just a little bit, as Murtaugh and Kiefer are right there through our top 3 underneath a blanket as they go down into turn number 1. James Murphy's going to try to make up as much ground as he can down the back straightaway. Into turn 3, Kiefer looks to the inside of Murtaugh. Murtaugh shuts the door, and out of turn 4, Murtaugh now with a look to the inside of Connor New.
And Tim, your guy here, James Murphy, he's been in the top 5 practically this entire race, and now he's starting to get up into the mix too.
Yeah, he dropped back a little earlier in the race. I think he was just saving a little bit of tire, and it looks like it's paying off. Starting to make his way towards the leaders, as does your driver to watch, and Davin Cardwell.
Real quick, Tim, we got a race for the lead right now. Richard Murtaugh is underneath Connor New down into turn number 3. Murtaugh with the advantage on the inside. He's going to complete that pass, coming to 10 laps to go. New race leader, Richard Murtaugh. New's going to fight hard back on the inside with more contact. That was very close to catastrophe there out of turn number 2.
And New's not done yet, because New is right now back in that line that he was using to try to claw his way up through the field here. And contact there for the 2 spot. Murphy had to hit the binders. He had to grab a whole bunch of brake coming off the corner there. And while all of that took place, Murtaugh starts to pull away.
Absolutely. Just want to slide back 1 spot to our 5th place runner, Jared Murphy. He is up 16 positions. He was the tail starter. He finds himself now in the top 5, running behind his brother, James Murphy, as he is battling Connor New for the 3rd place position.
And I think Jared Murphy did exactly what he told us he was going to do during the warm-up, is keep everything clean. You got to have a car to be there at the end. And just as Tim told us earlier before the feature, the Murphy boys are here. The Murphy boys are here to play.
That they are, as they are practically nose to tail. Jared's going to try to follow his brother James through as James tries to make the pass on Connor New for third. Connor battling hard, a little bit of contact out of turn 4, and Jared's going to have the run on the out right in the middle of the racetrack. He's going to try to get a 2-for-1 here as they work through turn number 2.
I don't know how that wasn't, how they didn't wreck. Oh, there they go. Here we go. No, they can't.
My goodness, they are
Boy,
battling
there are
hard for
some
third.
drivers upset with each other right now.
Yeah, I believe there is. They're starting to be a little more forceful with every pass. But I'll tell you what, Richard Murtaugh, Damian Kiefer have stretched it out. Just 3 laps to go. Murtaugh and a 9/10 of a second advantage over Kiefer. And Kiefer's up almost 2 seconds over Connor New in third as all 3 cars, New and both of the Murphy brothers, battling really hard for third. Anthony Hunsinger's reeling them in. He's back there in 6th.
And I'll tell you, Kiefer has really closed the gap on Murtaugh, but he's running out of time, and he's running out of time in a hurry here, Tyler, coming to white.
Absolutely. White flag goes in the air for Richard Murtaugh. Barring any catastrophe, he's going to run the inside like he's done this last restart, down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. Smooth as silk on the bottom. Checkered flag in the air. Richard Murtaugh wins the League of Outlaws Spring Nationals here tonight at Lanier Speedway. Damian Kiefer is going to bring that car home in second. Connor New was able to fend off the charge from both of the Murphy brothers late in the going here tonight. We'll be able to get a word in with our top 3 in just a moment after we go through our final race results. And what an awesome showing tonight for the League of Outlaws and their Spring Nationals event. All of the sponsors, we'll run through those real quick for everybody. We had QuickTime Promotions was on board, Jordan Miller Racing, Williams Junk Removal, Suicide Prevention Awareness, Shockeye Racing Performance, Rick Sparks Auto Sales, SimRacerHub, Plum Wild Podcast, ANY Auto Body Paint. All of those sponsors, a big thank you here tonight from all of the League of Outlaws and everybody that was a part of this event. Our final race results here tonight from Lanier Speedway. We talked about our top 3. 4th is going to get credited to James Murphy. 5th to Jared Murphy, and what an awesome run. The hard charger going to Jared. Up 16 spots. He brings it home there in 5th. A.J. Hunsinger in 6th. Davin Cardwell 7th. Matthew Selby in 8th. Brody Duche at 9th. Gabe Griffin's going to be 10th. Aaron Bowman 11th. Mark Mano 12th. Trevor Doyle 13th. Luke Bishop 14th. Blade Wisdom 15th. Matt Bridgen 16th. Matt Sanders 17th. Jerry Walford is going to bring it home in 18th. And the final couple of cars, Nathan Waddell 19th. Blake Andrews 20th. And Lakin Martin in the 21st position. All right, without further ado, we'll get to talk to our top 3. We'll start off tonight talking to, hopefully, Connor New. We can find him. I know we got a lot of drivers to kind of look through. Hopefully we can find Connor, which I'm not seeing him at all. So we may not be able to talk to Connor, but I do see our second place finisher, Damian Kiefer. We'll roll right along. Hopefully Connor pops into the mix here before we end the stream, but we'll bring in Damian Kiefer right now. Hey Damian, it's Tyler, Tim, and Steven up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
All right, man. You bring that car home in the second place position, up 7 spots, so a really nice run, 9th to 2nd here in this main event. We saw you and Richard pull away from that battle for 3rd. Do you think you could have changed up anything there at the end to try to win this thing?
I mean, if we had a late race yellow there with about 5 to go, I felt like I was a little bit better than Richard was, but not a whole lot better. So I would have had to kind of really thrown something crazy at it. But I had a little bit of right rear wheel damage there in the last few laps, which was kind of my fault, with just lap car situation deal. But overall, 9th to 2nd's not too bad, especially at a track like this. But felt pretty good in the car, honestly.
Absolutely. Good deal, Damien. Tim, you have anything to ask Damien?
Yeah, what was the track transition like throughout the whole night, and how did you feel?
So early on, like qualifying there, you're pretty hammered down, getting with it, which I usually will struggle with. And then heat race, you're kind of in the mid range there, kind of pedaling it at times, and you're hammered down other times. But there in that feature, especially like the last 10 or 15 laps, I'm barely on the pedal, trying to be as smooth as possible. These cars, they're hard to keep the side bite in them, and the forward drive. So you really just have to be super smooth and keep the car under you. And a lot of guys, I think early on in that feature, used their tires up a lot, or a little bit more than I think they were thinking they were, and it cost them there at the end.
Damien, at what point in the race did you say, okay, now is the time to go, now's the time to push? You know, you started 9th, which in a field of 21 is about mid-pack, so, you know, it's not like you could just bide your time for most of the race, but when did you say, okay, now's the time I can flip the switch?
So definitely early on, I wanted to get 2 or 3 spots just to get kind of in the top 6, those 3 or 4 rows on the restarts to kind of get yourself in a good spot for good situations. And then we had a restart there where my good friend Nathan kind of got upset his car and got sideways and got in a wreck there. But I took advantage of that and I got 2 spots, which put me in 4th. And then they were battling there, and I was riding in 4th, and I saw another little bitty advantage I could take, and to get 2 of them at once, and I took it, and that was pretty much that. And it just a matter of being there, being patient, waiting for the right moments, not pushing things where you don't need to. I think if I would have pushed a little bit harder, I could. I wouldn't have been behind Richard in that scenario, and I could have been the guy winning the race. But I just barely missed my mark that one lap earlier in the race, probably about lap 12 or 14, and let Richard get by me, and that was the race there. But overall, I'll take it. I learned a lot. The track definitely changed a lot. The setup was really good tonight. I felt like you kind of drive everywhere. I made some ground up through the middle of the racetrack, and you just had to be super smooth.
Well, Damien, you do bring home a good winnings here tonight. And before we let you go, who would you like to thank?
For first and foremost, got to thank Nathan, the Pumwell podcast. He sponsored me on this deal, and can't thank him enough. And all we do over there at the podcast, it's a pretty cool deal. You guys for putting this whole deal on. It was a really cool deal to be a part of. The guys at NLRA and the team on my team over there with Nick and the boys. And then you guys for putting the broadcast on. It's a cool deal. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're glad you got a word in here with us. Congratulations finishing second here tonight. We'll let you celebrate it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was our second place finisher tonight, Damian Kiefer. I do see Connor New is waiting to talk to us, so we will be able to talk to him tonight for sure. We'll go ahead and get a word in with him. Hey, Connor, it's Tyler, Tim, and Steve up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. You bring that machine home in third place. And I got to ask, did you maybe use up a little too much tire early on in the feature?
I mean, yeah, we didn't, I don't know whose idea it was to put 12-14 in the thing for 50 laps, but, I don't know, just super disappointing tonight, you know, I don't know, just completely screwed qualifying. Didn't really test much for a 0% track. That wouldn't make no sense for qualifying, but, you know, it's whatever. We still made some money, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, you have anything to ask Connor?
Yeah, Started 11th. What were your thoughts at the beginning of the race, and did you think that you were going to be able to be in a position to finish top 3?
I mean, for sure. I knew we had a good shot at it. We felt really good. I don't know. I figured it'd be a lot harder to pass than that, but we got up there and made some moves, and I don't know. I don't completely agree with any of the admin's calls really, but that's up to them. I'm sure we might be back. I don't know yet, and I don't know. We just got up to the front a lot quicker than I thought we really would, and I didn't feel like I was pushing it too hard, but I don't know. I guess I was, and just used up the tire a little too much, but it is what it is.
Well, a great run here, Connor. To get yourself up to a podium spot. Anybody that you'd like to thank for the effort tonight?
Just everybody at Magility Speed Shop. Couldn't do none of this without them. Blake, Chris, Evan, Mike, Selby, Jarrett, everybody over there. H3 Motorsports, Sweet Victory Apparel, Tack 3 Defense, Gage Stevens Designs. Just everybody that helps out and helps make this possible.
Well, Connor, we thank you for getting a word in with us here tonight. We'll let you celebrate that third place finish.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, now we get to move on and talk to our big race winner, Richard Murtaugh. Hey, Richard, it's Tyler, Tim, and Steve up in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
All right, man. How does it feel to win the big money race here tonight?
It feels amazing. These cars I haven't touched in probably 2 years until a couple hours ago. We kind of jumped in this whole deal pretty late and really didn't have much time to practice other than today. So me and all the boys put up a 3-hour session today, and we let a bunch of people come in and wear the track in, and we just practiced. And the race kind of played out totally different than I expected. We all planned for running the wall the whole time, slider, and it ended up being the bottom. So it kind of caught me off guard, but we kind of put ourselves in position there to kind of just drive away with ease, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, you have anything to ask Richard? Yeah, Tim might have stepped away a moment. How about you, Steven?
Yeah, Richard, just a masterful drive here tonight, and I think what was interesting about watching your run tonight was, you didn't, run right up there and say, I've got to go lead every lap of this feature. You've been around this game a long time, and not just on iRacing, but out on the big tracks too, and I said to these guys with about 20 to go, I said, I don't think Richard has even shown what he's got underneath him right now, and just as soon as we say that, you're making a move for the lead with 10 to go. Just talk us through that, because I really felt like you were in a great position, and you just weren't going to use your stuff up to get there.
Yeah, exactly that. We came in here. We had a game plan. Me, Matt, we had a couple people in the race, kind of helping us out, and we literally had it planned out perfectly. We kind of figured out we just ride around there for a little while, stay near the front, and I kind of called it with 10, 15 to go. I said that's gonna be my lap. I'm gonna start pushing, and that's exactly what we did. We started pushing, and literally we were about a tenth of a lap quicker than the field, and I started driving away from everyone, so I just kind of backed it down just in case we got a caution. But I had a lot more left over than what I really showed there at the end. Pulling out to a second lead, we had a ton left, so just kind of came down to the tires there. Just saved myself the whole race. Really wasn't a big fan of kind of burning everything up. Just rode around, let everyone burn their stuff up, and let the race come to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rich, before we let you go, who would you like to thank?
I got to start out with all the guys back at Premier Racing Setups. Without them, none of this would be possible. Especially Danny, Matt, Jason, Kyle. Everyone. There was a ton of people kind of helping me out there. So shout out to all them guys. They were a huge help, kind of keeping me calm, making sure I had my head right, and Rocky Racing Graphics, 180 Flood Drive Properties, RMR Racing, Unrivaled Cinematography, VP Race and Fuel, Stagger Media Co. Gotta give a big shout out to all the admins tonight. A lot of people saying some stuff about them that they really shouldn't be saying, and they took a lot of heat tonight, and I really think they didn't do anything wrong. So shout out to all them guys and you guys for putting this on at a really great event, and my whole team will be back here. We had a lot of fun.
All right. Well, congratulations once again winning the Spring Nationals here tonight. We'll let you celebrate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Richard. Great drive.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was our race winner here tonight. Man, I tell you, as we begin to slowly wrap things up here from the Lanier Speedway, closing thoughts from you tonight, Stephen.
You know, I guess it shouldn't have surprised me, but I wasn't sure that this was really going to come down to a tire game, and it did. We saw some comers and goers all night long. And, you know, whether you're racing on dirt or you're racing on pavement, Tyler, as a race fan, that's what you love to see. You love to see guys that, you know, they have to manage a lot more than just the steering wheel in their hands. And I think we saw that here tonight. Lanier is such an amazing track that you can run top to bottom. We saw that tonight. And at the end of the day, you know, the driver that had the most amount of patience and was willing to save his stuff, yeah, he may not have led every lap tonight, but when it came down to brass tacks and the moment arrived, you know, the guy that had the most patience came out on top tonight.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Again, more congratulations to Richard Murtaugh and anybody that made it to the feature here tonight, because there was awesome racing and battling just to make it for these 21 drivers that made it here tonight. Tim, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, just an amazing race. I don't even know where to start. I just want to thank League of Outlaws for allowing us to do this.
Yeah, sir, absolutely. Well, before we wrap things up here, upcoming on the Buckeye Racing Network, tomorrow night we're going to be live with the Regal Promotions Esports Winged 360 Sprint Car Division. That we're going to be at the Limaland Speedway, and there's a little bit of money on the line for that league race tomorrow. Not quite what was on the line tonight, but there is some money on the line for those league participants. Again, we'll be live about 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. And, of course, on Tuesday night and Thursday night, we have the Short Track Rivals Racing. Tuesday night's the Fixed Division 358 Modifieds, and Thursday night is the Open Division Pro Late Models. And I'll tell you what, it's been a blast up here in the booth. As always, my broadcast partner Tim Henderson's here. And, Steven, a big shout-out to you coming on board and being a part of this big event for the League of Outlaws, and it has been a joy to have you in the booth alongside us.
I appreciate you guys having me in, and be sure to follow these guys, subscribe to their channel, and you know, tune in. This is a really great thing they got going on, and appreciate the League of Outlaws for the invite to come in tonight. And if you enjoyed the show tonight, check us out, landoflegendstv.com, and we broadcast every Saturday night on Dirt Vision, and we just started our season last night, so we'll be there Saturday nights the rest of the year.
All right, for everybody from the League of Outlaws and Stephen Ovens, Tim Henderson, I'm Tyler Bentley. Good night.